Hello, my name is Dr. Mary Starr Carter, and I'm going to present to you today on chiropractic and Young Living essential oils. Some of the things that we're going to go over are how to approach your chiropractor about Young Living essential oils, how to talk to them about the business of Young Living essential oils, and if you are a chiropractor already, how can you start to incorporate Young Living essential oils into your practice, or maybe even do it as a business. So let me start with my story. I started with Young Living Essential Oils back in 1999 when I was in chiropractic school. I was going to school in New York at New York Chiropractic College, and my aerobics instructor had invited me to this little gathering of people sharing oils. And I went, and I remember the presenter was very nervous, and they had all these oils spread over, and it was this kind of clinic video we were watching. But the biggest thing I got out of that night is they told me to use this one oil on everybody's feet because they called it a chiropractor in a bottle, and I did. And the next day, one of my colleagues I was in class with, who had been at the meeting too, he said, "I slept better than I have ever slept in my life. What are in those oils?" And so that really piqued my interest. I studied about the oils for an entire year, using them on myself, learning a technique called the raindrop technique, and sharing with about 25 people. And I struggled with different health challenges and stress while I was in college, and the oils really made a difference for me in that first year. And I also found that there was quite a difference between Young Living essential oils and health food store essential oils like Now Brands or Acacia or things like that. These were much more potent, if you'd say, and I got way better results. So the biochemist in me, who was very skeptical in the beginning, did her research. After a year, I found these really were the best oils. And after a year, I'd shared with 25 people, not really knowing what I was doing, but at the end of that year, I got this $100 commission check in the mail. Well, that doesn't sound too significant, but I was in school at the time, living on government assistance and food stamps, didn't have a good family support at that time, and Young Living really was kind of that savior for me. So I went to my mentor, and we sat down, who got me starting in the oils, and I said, what if we actually do this as a business? Because she really had no clue. She was just sharing. She was passionate about it. So we sat down and we wrote our goals. And one of my goals was to be able to pay my monthly student loan bill, which when I graduated would be $1,250. If you're a chiropractor, I'm sure yours is like that too, if you had to take out loans or more. And the coolest thing is 16 months later, that my commission check covered my monthly student loan payment. So 2 months actually before I even graduated, I achieved that goal to have my commission check pay my student loan so I could go right out into the workforce, and I didn't have to worry about paying that student loan. Because a lot of you, the way the boards are and things like that, you can't even start in practice right away. So you need something to cover that, or maybe you don't want to be an associate, and I didn't. I wanted to go into business, and I started a wellness center with a woman who already had a nutrition practice and came in as the chiropractor. I actually subleased to some other chiropractors a couple days a week, and then I was in there teaching oils until I got my license, started my chiropractic practice, had some good success, but here my Young Living Essential Oils business going up and up. I broke away from that relationship and went to the next town over and started my own wellness center, and that was very successful. We had a very different practice. It was a cash practice. We didn't accept insurance. My treatments for chiropractic, because I used essential oils on every single person, were anywhere from $75 to $100 depending on what they got, and most everyone got a treatment called the raindrop technique. So I didn't see a whole lot of patients, is my story of in a day, but we also had the foot spa running in a room, We did classes, we had retail. It was very successful. I didn't have another massage therapist working with me in our biggest wellness center, but as we were growing that in a very short period of time, Young Living, my success in Young Living kept going up, 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 where it became more profitable very quickly than the chiropractic practice with a lot less money and energy. So I decided to downsize that big center and move into a smaller location. For about a year and a half, I did that. Patients followed me. We had success there. I cut my hours down. But then it got to be the point where I really, really wanted freedom. So very quickly, in a short period of years, less than 5 years, I was able to actually break away from the profession, or at least the having to be in the office, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or every single week. And I was able to break away from that and work my Young Living business. And I will talk a little bit about that later too. So in this, and because I found so much success in Young Living while I was in chiropractic school, I had a whole host of chiropractors who graduated with me who ended up starting using the oils as well in their practice. So I'm going to share a little bit about what they've experienced too. So that's a little bit about my story. Just to finish it with Young Living, so 2005, I started traveling, teaching with the oils. And 2006, or 2004, my husband actually started helping me part-time on the weekends when he was off. In 2006, he had lost his job out of nowhere. And the great thing is that we had already replaced his income with our Young Living commission because it kept going up and up and up and up. So we worked together. Then we got some professional training in the industry of network marketing, relationship, finance, all of that. And that really shifted things in our business. Had babies. I think in 2009 I went back and did some more hands-on practice for about 3.5 years, but it was very part-time. I might see 5 to 10 patients a week, very, very part-time. Having babies in 2010 and 2013, we lost some babies. So, there's a lot going on in our life, but the great thing is we had this wonderful Young Living commissions going up. My husband was hired back into corporate America, and here we are earning 6 figures in our Young Living business, and that's growing and growing and growing. So in 2013, after the birth of my daughter in June that year, I stopped all hands-on. So any hands-on that I do now is usually teaching massage therapists, chiropractors, nurses, or even lay people how to use the Young Living essential oils in specific modalities or therapies. So that's what I do. Do not practice chiropractic at all. Work with a lot of chiropractors, but that's my story. So been very, very blessed, to be able to stay home with my babies. We are homeschooling now and all that, and I've cut my work hours down most weeks around 12 hours, some weeks about 20 hours. So that's my story. And if you have any questions too, feel free to ask those too, and we can get those answered for you. All right, so one thing you have to understand when you're working with a chiropractor or you want to approach a chiropractor is that they have, in the profession and how the profession began back in the early 20th century, we'll say. Chiropractic was originally found to have amazing results with ailments. It could cure diseases, high blood pressure, hearing loss, all of these things. When our profession first started, people would go to the chiropractor to lower their blood pressure, to help their anxiety, to not get sick, all these things. And then through the years, we've kind of had this split in chiropractic where we would say the straight chiropractor, they just adjust, they just do those, nothing else, no nutrition, anything else. They're kind of a straight chiropractor with still that model, but they have to fall within their state's regulations. So in some states, I think very few now, a chiropractor is still close to the level of a doctor. And a lot of the Amish community will use chiropractors. I know Dr. Leanne Dearduff, she got to treat a whole host of ailments with her community in the state that she practiced in. She was much more closer to like a medical doctor, doctor osteopathy. And then there's other states where we're simply musculoskeletal doctors. We treat the joints, the bones, we help the muscles. In some states, we don't even get paid to adjust, wrists, hands, extremities. So it kind of all falls within that. When you go to chiropractic school, you learn a whole lot about that. But when you leave and you get into practice, you're going to kind of fall into, somewhere in the spectrum where you're simply just adjusting. A lot of times these chiropractors will see 5, sometimes 10 people in an hour. Okay, they're just in and out, and that's just what they do. They adjust. They don't do much else. They don't even many times massage the muscles or address the muscles. They're just adjusting the joints in the spine. And then on this spectrum, we have chiropractors who are very much into nutrition. They're doing maybe applied kinesiology. They're doing a variety of different things on this spectrum. So we kind of have this full spectrum of chiropractors. Okay. All right. So that's what you need to know. If you don't already have a relationship with a chiropractor, it's probably a good idea to investigate what type of adjusting does he do, how long does he spend with his patients, how long has he been in practice, is he practicing with his wife, does he have a practice manager? That's a manager who manages the business because they take insurance. Do they take insurance? Do they not take insurance? When you take on insurance, it's almost kind of like a noose around your neck if you're a chiropractor, because you get paid less, but you can kind of see more people because more people might come to you because you accept insurances, but you have to see more people in a shorter period of time, right? So where I had a cash practice, I could earn almost more than my counterparts who were accepting insurances. Now, some states are different. It all depends. So depending on, they might have a practice manager, they might have a chiropractic assistant, and all of those are important facts to know before you approach a chiropractor. You want to talk to their patients and find out, what are some of the results they've gotten? What type of chiropractic are they actually getting? Find out about the chiropractor. Is he married? Does he have kids? Start to find out some of those needs. And the next thing is relationship. You really want to, whether anyone you're approaching about Young Living Essential Oils, but particularly entrepreneurs and business owners like chiropractors, and not all chiropractors own their own business. Many are just employed by this management company that's becoming very popular, but some do own their own businesses too, and they're probably even more stressed and have more on their plates and have less time for an opportunity to talk to you. So understand that. So relationship first. You want to build a relationship. You don't want to just walk into a practice cold. You want to have done your homework. Ideally, it'd be great if you were a patient of theirs. I always say this, I've used my hair for many years to build relationships with different salons, just because obviously we all need to get our hair done, just to build relationships and see if there's a need, see if my oils might be an opportunity to help them, and that's worked very well for me. The same thing with a chiropractor. You can build relationships. How do you build relationships? You ask questions, you form them, you find out their strengths, interests, goals, and needs. And many times that front person, that administrative assistant, practice manager, that person that you see, that's the person you want to be forming. You want to be talking to them and finding out what their needs are. Do they have kids? All of these things because I'll tell you in a second, that's really your key point person, and I'll tell you why. So we're building a relationship, we're asking questions, we're forming, finding out about their family, occupation, recreation, listening for some of their strengths, interests, goals, and needs, and we're genuinely caring about this person. Now, here's a myth to remember, and I said this earlier, but I want to bring this out again. The myth is that all chiropractors are into holistic health, and that's simply just not the case. And not all doctors, not all chiropractors are really into this holistic health. So you really have to look at, is this a person that I want to work with? Is this someone who might be open to this? And maybe they have a need in their own health, their own energy levels, or whatever it might be. So, got that. Another myth is that the chiropractor is going to build your business. If I can get this chiropractor in, if he can be my leg, I know he'll blow this business up. And that's just not necessarily true. Why? It's because the chiropractor is so busy most of the time, they have so much on their plate that they're not going to have the time to be able to devote. But their chiropractic assistant, their chiropractic manager, they may be the person to really take off with the essential oils. They may be the gateway to help you into the practice, to offer a service like Zytoscans 1 day a week or 1 day a month for their clients who want to get that. That's a great opportunity for you. So don't feel that if you get this chiropractor in, they're going to just grow your business and be successful. That's not necessarily the case, although we do have great chiropractors in our business, but we find the ones that are, have a full practice and maybe have a practice that's more what we call straight, they're just adjusting and getting people in and out, in and out, in and out, is that in insurance based, is that what will happen is they're the ones who have the least amount of time. But let me tell you about some success that we have had with some chiropractors and looking at that. So let's start. I drank all my water here. So, all right. So first things first. So I myself leave my practice and start traveling, and I start traveling to other chiropractors and helping them with their practices. And one amazing chiropractor, you will love her if you're in the Virginia area, is Dr. Teresa Neese from Montpelier Family Chiropractic. And you can Google her. I think it's Montpelier Chiro or familychiro.com in Montpelier, Virginia. And so she had just left an associate position chiropractic. She was building her practice out of her home, and I think she would admit too, was just kind of in a funk, maybe seeing about 10 patients a week and just starting to build her business. So we came in and we did some Young Living essential oil meetings, and one of her patients was an oil lover, an oil advocate. She loved Young Living essential oils, and those of you know, you work with Young Living, people, if they know a chiropractor is going to use Young Living essential oils with them, they're just going to flood to that. So she saw a surge in her new patients thanks to some of the classes that we did, but also this one patient who loved Young Living, wasn't even on her team or anything like that, but loved Young Living, loved to talk about Young Living. And that person loved Dr. Tree in the relationship that they built, right? And that helped to grow her business to the point where she had to move out of her home. She has an amazing, beautiful practice today, very busy, 10-year anniversary, just doing phenomenal. Now, what happened in her business too is here her business gets busier and busier, so her Young Living business kind of flatlines. So if I wasn't coming to do classes, it flatlined. But, for 10 years, or 8 or 9 years, it was flatlined, but it never stopped. Like once people start using the oils, and this is if you're a chiropractor listening to this, once you introduce people to the Young Living essential oils and some of our nutritional products, you'll see the high quality. We have very, very, very high client loyalty, and because of our rewards program that allows people to order every month, it doesn't involve you having to ring them up or them having to come to your office. So if they become snowbirds or they move or whatever, you're still getting that residual income from what they're buying from Young Living. And we have very, very high client loyalty. So Dr. Tree has seen that through the years, that although she didn't grow her business huge, even though she used Young Living essential oils on her patients, it didn't, explode her business. It helped to maintain her business, grow it a little bit, and kind of, she was a little bit flatlined until her practice manager, her number one chiropractic assistant, decided, hey, I'm going to start doing this as a business, as an opportunity to me. Angelique, and she has just blown it up. And this is a woman, a good practice manager has organization, drive, all of that, and she just really grew the business, started doing classes. That was the main thing. Started sharing the oils, doing a few vendor events with the oils, and in 1 year, grew her business to over $5,000 a month in volume. Okay, being a full-time job, being a single mom, all those things. So the chiropractic assistant is very, very, very important. We see that over and over and over again. So if you're a chiropractor, it's really important that your CA is on board. And when you're hiring, they just need to know this is part of the deal. When you come on, this is what we expect. You can build the business with me, or this is the opportunity for you. What I mean by that is, when you come on, these are the essential oils that you are going to have to learn about. You're going to have to learn how to market them and share them. Specifically, if you're a chiropractor who chooses to grow your Young Living business, then that's chiropractic assistant hopefully can be in your team as a member, so they can have the benefits, which is so cool, because maybe you can only afford to pay them a certain amount hourly rate, but with a business, they are getting extra bonuses, extra money every month, and you're benefiting too, but they're doing probably the bulk of the work of your business, right? Because they have a little bit more time, they have more interaction with the clients. I hope that makes sense, but we can answer questions about that as well. So that's a great story of how this can help a new chiropractor, or a chiropractor who wants to build their business, can really tap into the Young Living community by bringing Young Living essential oils into their practice, using them on their clients, and we'll kind of jump into that next on how you use them in your practice. And the next would be, what was my thought there on that? Okay, I lost my thought. But let's go into how to use Young Living essential oils if you are a chiropractor in your business. Well, obviously the number one oil that I started with was Valor. And now we have the option of Valor or Valor 2. Sometimes seasonally, because of harvest, rains, or whatever, we have Valor 1 or Valor 2. Both amazing oils. Valor 2 has a bit of a stronger odor. And then this depends on how you work on your patients. Very few chiropractors, I think, these days have clients, take their shirts off and have them gown. Some still do. I did. That's how I practice, because I did raindrop on my clients. Sometimes you need to. But if you're not, then, the areas that you can look at are getting oils on the feet. Okay, some chiropractors have the oil right in the waiting room, and clients know to take their shoes off and put the oil on before they go get adjusted, because they call it a chiropractor in a bottle, and it helps the body to hold the adjustment longer. the adjustments go better and the adjustments are held longer. Okay, now that's not theory, that's my personal opinion of what I've seen over and over and over and over and over again. Have you ever tried to adjust someone if you're a manual adjuster and it's just stuck? With the Valor oil just on the feet, because the oils go into the body, into the pores, right? Oils have vibration, they have nutrition for the body, they have all these things. The oils go into the body, they're in the bloodstream, they're out of the body within 4 hours, but the therapeutic effects are still there. So getting oils on the feet or on the neck, okay, on the neck area, because usually you can get to the neck area, will help the adjustments go quicker. Okay, so Valor 2, and then there's a variety of different massage oils that we have. A lot of chiropractors are liking the deep relief options. Some like to use a little stress away, and they will put that a tissue down in the head cradle, right? So you have your paper, you can give them a tissue with a little stress away, and it just helps the body. You'll see it just kind of melt, and they'll melt into the table. Okay, so we see great results with that. So you have to look, if you're a chiropractor, you have to look at what kind of investment you want to make. And I'm not really talking about money, I'm actually talking more about time. What is it? Do you have a 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute appointments? What do you have for that client? Do you want to get the best results and have your client feel the best and probably have to come back a little bit less often because they're holding the results, or they're going home with a deep relief that they can use on their sore muscles and joints? So think about that. What are your goals, your clients? Because remember, coming back on the other side, a chiropractor, they're on the spectrum, but they're also on a spectrum of maybe just getting started. They don't have a lot of patients. They still need to build their business, or they are so full, so packed, so jam-packed of patients, they have no time freedom. They're having to work all days plus a Saturday, or they're having to get in an associate. All those things are very, very stressful. So there's very few chiropractors, unless they've had very, very good practice management and chiropractic business management coaching, that aren't stressed in some spectrum. Does that make sense? So we have the ones who don't have enough patients and they need to build their business, the ones that really have too many patients. How are you going to find their need and come in with a Young Living to help them? Okay, so let's keep going. So oils to help them in practice. We talked about Valor and Valor 2, stress away, peace and calming, joy, all wonderful things too. Every chiropractic practice should have Young Living essential oils diffusing in the office. And I will tell you, 99.9% of the people come into your practice, as long as you stick with some of these oils that I talked about, whether it's stress away, that you're diffusing, your citrus fresh is a great blend, even just a peppermint or Christmas spirit during Christmas time, 99.9% of everyone will love those smells, and it will remind them of your practice. So we have seen this in many businesses throughout the US and Canada who use oils, particularly maybe their scent, or there is citrus fresh, or maybe they diffuse abundance. People will remember that. They seem to come back more. They're coming in, they're like, oh, I just want to pick up a bottle of oil that smells so good. So retail wise, you will probably want to have some diffusers on hand. Young Living has some great diffusers. If a new client wants to enroll with a membership, they get this great diffuser with us, the $75 value or more diffuser, plus all these 10 oils. Or you may want to think about getting some lower end just diffusers, because everybody wants 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in their house, from Aroma to Go. That's Aroma, the number 2 and the letter G-O, Aroma to Go. That's also Carey Publishing, the company, and they do a great job with having some great discounts when you buy diffusers in bulk. So those are a couple things that would retail well, would have people probably coming into your office to get that. Now, you might have an office where you don't have that kind of retail, so you may only have a few things on your shelf, like Deep Relief, maybe your Stress Away, Ninja Red. You and I both know, if you have been doing chiropractic, that nutrition is a key point to your clients, your patients' recovery. And Ninja Red can build their immune system, that can help support the joints, the ligaments. So, you can do 3 or 4 Young Living products, or you can even go in. Some of my chiropractors, they have maybe 12 products on the shelf, and that might include your Ninja Red, Sulfurzyme, and BLM. Those are 2 amazing supplements that support the joints and support the muscles, regeneration. Just really, 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 really good, absolutely must-haves for your musculoskeletal practice. What else? We talked about diffusers. You might use our Omega Jais, is our omegas. You might sell vitamins. We have our True Source and our new Master Formula products. It just depends on what your clients need. That's it. Some carry our shakes, and a lot of them actually carry our cleaners, our different soaps and stuff that are natural, because the chiropractors are on this side of the wellness spectrum. They want people to get rid of chemicals in their home. They want them eating right nutrition. So they'll have a variety of products that we offer. Our personal care, green cleaning products. They'll have the nutritional products, and they'll have the essential oils, along with even some of the diffusers. And sometimes we have these beautiful aroma necklaces too. So you, as a chiropractor, need to decide, what is it you want to do? Do you want to increase, you want to create another revenue stream, a small retail revenue stream? If you are seeing more than 10 clients a day, this probably could be a little bit of profit for you. And I can't give you exact numbers, but it really depends on how well you're sharing, as well as that upfront face that your clients are seeing, that chiropractic assistant as well. Or you may be more on this spectrum where you just want to use a couple oils in the practice, or you're just like the chiropractor wants to put it out in the treatment room, or on top of where they sign in. It says, try some Deep Relief before your practice, try a little Valor before your treatment. I mean, you really have a lot of choices with this, okay? But if you want to grow a strong business, don't think that just having oils in your practice and having your chiropractic assistant do it is going to grow you a part-time income over over $1,000 a month. You might get close to that, depending on how big your warm market, how many people you expose the oils to. But if you want to grow a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month commission check, you really, really need to probably branch outside of chiropractic and start doing some classes. And I think her name is Dr. Jean. She's out of Hawaii. And she was just, loved the oils, loved diffusing. And she just went out and she did classes. And she would even go to people's homes or have them in her office and just share our premium everyday oils kit, starter kit with people. And she'd have 10 people and she'd sell 10 kits, okay? And she just boom, 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 and just got people started, had them plug into a very simple system, getting them trained about the oils, and grew a very, very big business up to gold. And you can look and see what the average gold earns in Young Living. I think she's a platinum now, but so that's an idea there, is that you can grow a very successful business. So are you in a position where maybe you're like my friend Lori Atkinson, who is a chiropractor, her husband's a chiropractor, but she, because of her reasons, wanted to be with her daughter and spend more time with that and take a less of a hands-on doing hands-on chiropractic, she in just 1 year grew to the level of silver in her business. Very doing, sharing, working with her team, just very, very, very positive that you can do this even with a full schedule. Even with a full schedule, you can do it. If you're a husband and wife team like she is, I highly suggest you do that. Let me tell you another story of my friend Brenda Schuler. So Brenda Schuler's husband was a chiropractor, and she was more of like the practice manager, and she grew her business to the level of gold, which is great. We were at the Gold Club together back in, I think it was 2006, maybe 2007. We're sitting on the beach and we're talking about this, and I was sharing how I had retired out of chiropractic. She's like, "How did you do it? Wow." And just kind of picking my brain and stuff like that. And she just had this passion that she, saw how stressed her husband was, and so in how their family had no time freedom. And she went back and they talked together, and they made the decision that she would stop being in the practice and she would focus on the kids and focus on building the Young Living business. And that woman hustled and hustled in a couple of years. I think very short time, 2, maybe 4 years, grew to the Royal Crown Diamond in our company. And her husband Scott has thus retired from chiropractic. He has amazing passions and works different things in the business and outside of the business now, but they have so much good quality time with their kids, raising, I think they have 4 boys. So, how cool would that be for you? Maybe you don't want to leave the profession, but you're like my friend Dr. Hillary Moore. Dr. Hillary had started way back in the business with me when we were in chiropractic school, because she had a passion for animals. She loved animal rescue, and she had rescued this animal. It cost her like $900. I said, "Come on, you need to sign up. We need to build you a business so you can start getting this money back that you're spending on these animals." And that's what we did. And we worked for about a year together, and then she went off and built her practices, and she kept ordering. She kept, having the oils. She started using the oils in her practice. But she kind of was in we call it had a lid on. She had a lid about network marketing. So she never could break it through really that $1,000 barrier. Made it to silver, would fall back down. And it wasn't until she had this breakthrough. Dr. Hillary's done a lot of great training with Danny Johnson at First Steps to Success, and had this breakthrough, this epiphany about network marketing, that it was a good thing, and that she was doing it already. And lo and behold, once that lid was off, she just, boom, her business really exploded in her passion, because she had worked like a dog building her businesses and really struggled with that. And she's a phenomenal chiropractor today, but her goal was to be able to cut her hours down so she could work very part-time in chiropractic. In this side, right, this spectrum where she does nutrition and all these things, and work Young Living part-time too, and then follow other passions. She has a passion for writing and for art and all these things. So maybe that's where you are. Are you looking for more time freedom? Are you looking to be able to stay home with your kids? Are you looking to be able to travel, to be able to afford to hire a substitute chiropractor to come in for you? Whatever it is, or maybe get out of a situation that you're in right now. Maybe you're in a really tight financial situation and you need something to work for you. Well, if that's you, I highly, highly encourage you get back with the person who invited you to watch this video, and get with them and decide, is this for me? What am I willing to invest? Because it's going to be an investment. If you are struggling right now with those student loans, because that's where I was, that was my main goal of building this business. If you need to have less stress of those student loans right now, maybe this business is for you. You will have to invest a little bit, but the money you invest will be a whole lot less than you invested in your chiropractic degree, your practice, and all those things. It will be much, much less. It will be a little bit of your time. It will be a little bit of skill development in an area that you'll have to learn some new skills and in terms of communication and how this business works and a little bit more about Young Living, but it's going to be phenomenal. It really is going to be phenomenal. So I told you about that. I think I answered some of the questions that did come in. One was, I have a great relationship with my chiropractor. She's open to alternative approaches to wellness. I wonder if you can give me some the best way to approach her. What approach would be attractive and what would turn off a chiropractor? Also, I want to set it up so that she can be a seller like me, not just sell from her practice. At least that's what I think. Okay, so we did address a lot of these things. That's great that they already have a great relationship, and a lot of us think we have great relationships, but if I were to ask you, what's her needs, what's her strengths, what's her interests, what's her hobbies, if I were to ask you that, then it means that you probably haven't been listening enough. A lot of times we go and we talk, right? We're face down and we're sharing about our aches and pains or whatever, but we need to make sure that you know those things going in. What's going to turn a chiropractor off is, as chiropractors, probably weekly, somebody's coming in to try to sell us something. Somebody's trying to come in to get us into a business who does not have the skills to do it correctly, that hasn't built a relationship, that doesn't know how to form, doesn't know their strengths, interests, goals, or need, and doesn't come in with a message that helps them with their need. Look for a need in the practice. Is there a stinky smell in the practice? Because there's a lot of people coming in and out. Maybe a need might be to bring in a diffuser, run Citrus Fresh from them. That's been something that we've thought about in the past. The biggest thing I think, though, is a turnoff is when people come in, they have no relationship and they just try to sell, right? You're there to serve. Remember that. Write that down. You're there to serve the chiropractor. How can you serve the chiropractor? Do they need to build their business? I know you're new in town. You're trying to build your chiropractic practice. I don't know if you'd like to meet for lunch sometime or just meet 30 minutes to see how can I assist you in building your practice, and we can learn a little bit more about each other and what we do. A lot of chiropractors in the beginning too will do like BNIs, networking groups, things like that. You can meet chiropractors when in the beginning. When they get busy and over on this side, they're not going to be at those events anymore to build their practice because they're too busy. Okay, here's another question. I want her to set her up to be a seller like me, not just sell from her practice. That's correct. That's right. Well, the first step when a chiropractor starts is that they need to sign up with a membership, a wholesale distributorship. They need to have that so they can either sell the products that they order retail, or they can have a set of products on their shelf. And I forgot to talk about this. They can have a set of products on their shelf that they can sell at the Young Living retail prices, and their chiropractic assistant simply goes into Young Living, sets up a customer account, orders as a customer, and gets the product resent back to the office. Okay, does that make sense? So you're moving product and not having to run through your own QuickBooks or accounting, bookkeeping things. You're just running it right through Young Living. So you keep a set of inventory, and then especially flip kits, the premium starter kits. That's a great idea. They can go right home with it. Boom. The chiropractic assistant, here, let me just take all your information. Great. Boom, boom, boom. They are enrolled. They go home with the kit. You get this kit sent back to the office. Does that make sense? And you can ask questions afterwards if that doesn't. My chiropractor has expressed interest in essential oils. He's not familiar with them beyond that of lavender is for calming. That's his words. I was going to my appointment and delivering his oils. He ordered cedar wood and lavender. I plan to give them a product guide and a product reference. Does anyone have any suggestions for what a chiropractor might be interested in as far as samples, books, etc.? Thought about giving him a sample of Orthosport massage oil. That's a great idea. A roll-on might be a great idea for a chiropractor. Again, what are his needs? Is he seeing, what kind of patients is he seeing? Is he seeing a lot of athletes? Is he seeing a lot of moms and babies? Or her, I don't know if it was a man or a woman. What's their niche? And then look at the products we have. And sometimes, especially for entrepreneurs and those who are already interested, sometimes it's worth investing in a deep relief. It's worth investing in a diffuser and some oils to get them exposed. Does that make sense? It's just a strategy. You have to watch yourself because you have to make sure that they're qualified for it, right? He's already purchasing oil, so he has some interest. How do you educate him more and more? Hey, can I come in, meet you for lunchtime? We'll have a quick one-on-one. I'll show you how you can use these oils in your practice, and go through the Everyday Oils Collector or the Premium Starter Kit collection and show them. Stress away, put in a dab on the paper. A lot of chiropractors do that, and sometimes even will use peppermint like below the paper to help their sinuses, because a lot of clients get congested. Totally forgot to talk about peppermint. Absolutely, we need peppermint in a chiropractor's office. So you can sit, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour of their time, and you can do a one-on-one with them to educate them. Getting them to experience it is a little bit more effective than getting them to give them some samples. Okay, so samples are great, but the next step would be to get a 20, 30, 40, 1 hour appointment with them so you can sit down with them. Okay, so have we covered everything? You've heard a little bit about my story with Young Living and the success that we've had. Young Living has retired me out of chiropractic. I am very passionate about the profession. I am very, very still pro chiropractic. I want to see other chiropractors have success like I did, and I want to see them have more time freedom, be able to retire early if they need to, be able to get out of bad situation if they're in an associate situation and they want to break out and start their own practice even. We talked about the different types of chiropractic, whether it's straight chiropractor, who they just go in, they see a lot of patients every hour, and that's just all they do. And then we have the total opposite, where they're very into wellness, nutrition, they're doing maybe applied kinesiology, all of these things. And then we talked about how to approach a chiropractor, that we really need to find out about them, how they practice, what they do. Are they a good candidate for the oils, right? Not every chiropractor is a good candidate to be in business with you in Young Living, or even to have be a customer of yours. So you want to build relationships, you want to form them, you want to find out about their strengths, interests, goals, and needs, and you want to genuinely care about them. They have a lot on their shoulders if they're an entrepreneur especially, so how can you help them? Sometimes you just have to ask. We talked about a few myths in chiropractic. We talked how the chiropractic assistant or the practice manager is the key person that you want to build a relationship with as well in the practice, because they're going to be they're going to be the face of the oils to the clients many times, and they're going to be assisting and helping, and that might be the person that you have to train up as well, because the chiropractor won't have as much time. I gave you some examples of different chiropractors, some that the Young Living Essential Oils help them build a business, build their chiropractic business. Some who it helped them totally retire out of the profession and create a great income. Some that it helped I didn't talk to you about Dr. Lisa Marsh. Dr. Lisa, amazing Young Living distributor, has a lot of amazing holistic things she does. She specializes in autistic children and just very difficult cases. She too has a cash practice. There's a lot of different modalities, and now incorporating a lot of the oil modalities. Totally forgot to talk about raindrop technique, right? A lot of chiropractors, a few, Dr. Teresa Nice. Oh, Dr. Lisa is in Palm Harbor, Florida. So Dr. Lisa's in Palm Harbor, Florida. Let's see, Dr. Teresa's in Montpelier, Virginia. Dr. Hillary Mower currently is in the South Carolina area. Gaffney currently. Dr. Rebecca Von Bergen has been using oils many, many years. She's down in the Ithaca area. Dr. Karen Meadows. Dr. Regina. Dr. Regina's in Florida as well. To look up Dr. Regina's. But I'm going to give you a list of chiropractors who work with the oils as well. That'll be good. But let's go to raindrop technique before I end this this audio video training. So raindrop technique is by far one of the most powerful adjuncts you have to your chiropractic practice in terms of modalities. Many of you have a massage therapist in your practice, or you refer to a massage therapist if you're a chiropractor already. And if you're a chiropractor, you can do this technique. You just obviously need to charge appropriately, because it will take about 50 minutes of your time. You might be able to see one patient. If you make it out to an hour, you might be able to see one patient within that time, because there's a period where they have the moist heat on them. If you do the raindrop like I teach chiropractors to do it, we use moist heat. So it's a combination. The client does have to de-gown, and you put a gown on them. They usually will keep their shorts on or bring shorts. This is what we did in our practice. We use oils on the feet. We do a type of VitaFlex reflexology with 9 different oils on the feet, and that alone totally starts to relax the spine. They feel amazing. They're doing just absolutely incredible. So you have the oils on the feet. Then you put oils along the spine from the tailbone all the way up to the occiput, and it's all these different hand techniques. Oh, excuse me. Then you have the moist towels, moist heat, right, or hot packs if you have them in your office. They have that on anywhere from 5, 8, 10, sometimes 15 minutes, depending on your time. Flip them over, do some stretching of the legs, stretching of the low back, really, then stretching of the head and neck, and then, after the hot packs, you stretch and you can adjust. Flip them over, stretch the legs, stretch the low back, do the head and neck stretching, and then you can adjust, and it's like butter, absolute butter. In my practice, my patients thought I was the best adjuster ever, and I really wasn't. Still not. But the oils, the raindrop oils and the raindrop technique did the work for me. So I suggest that clients get a raindrop within a week of your chiropractic treatment. If they could do it back to back, that would be awesome. But even within a week or a few days, you see the adjustment go like butter. The muscles are relaxed. You get much more better results. The adjustments last longer. You will see it'll be less work on you when the client gets a raindrop. So I even suggest, if you can do it, combine the two. Maybe they buy packages for raindrop and chiropractic, or one raindrop a month and whatever it is. So that's just some of my tips. I'm going to let you go. In this program, you'll be able to ask some more questions as well. But I look forward to seeing more of your questions. I look forward to giving you more great testimonies from other chiropractors, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.